Hello everybody, how you doing? It's Damon yet again, and now we're gonna tackle WrestleMania 32. And it's kind of weird that now we're going to the point of rebooking some WrestleManias which are just about like just 10 years old. And yeah, and it would include, since as the Hall of Fame class would be similar to the year before. Uh like I said, I said that my one of my rules was to have anybody who either main event a WrestleMania or was WB champion to be on that list, to be on the list of who would headline the Hall of Fame. Except in this case, I kind of used up a lot of people who were WB champions. And yeah, and the only exception, since he was the exception for a long time, that person that was a big name, despite not being WB for so long, that he has to headline the Hall of Fame. I'm talking about Sting. Sting has to be the Hall of Fame, like in real life, the headliner the Hall of Fame class. And I would have Godfather join in, Big Boss Man, Jacqueline Moore. Damn, she was tough. Great looking and tough, and deserve better. The Freebirds, Snoop Dogg, and Stan Hansen. Like in real life, but I would add, as manager, I would add Slick. Slick should also be in the Hall of Fame because he managed Big Boss Man. And you know what? I'm going to add in the one man gang as well. I'm going to add the one man gang because I felt like, you know what? If you're gonna have Big Boss Man and you're gonna have Slick, why not have the equivalent of the guy who used to be Akeem or the One Man Gang? Why not? So, night one of WrestleMania, you start out with a 32-man battle royal. Basically, some of these matches, I'll tell you who's gonna put double duty, but from my gather, it's like basically people will be involved in the tag title match, would be involved in the battle royal, and everybody else no. So in this case, it'd be a 32-man Andro Giant Battle Royal. Yeah, DDP, you would have Big Show and etc. And I would have, in this case, Mark Henry win in his home state. I would have Mark Henry win the 32-man Andro Giant Battle Royal because you need somebody who actually is a giant to win that match. And while I want Big Show to win one, it's like, I feel like if you have to build somebody else, why not? Second match of the night. It's time for a big man match at WrestleMania, and what better way than the newcomer? He was basically the black sheep then. Sorry, yes. Braun Strowman, big Braun Strowman, to take on Kane. I felt that some magic could have happened. Just like I felt like Kane and Sheamus, even my booking was trying to say basically, I don't know what it was basically the big red Sheamus versus the big red machine in Kane. You could have gone that match, but Braun Strowman versus Kane should have definitely happened. And it will be a great 9-minute match, which ends with Strowman delivering his running power slam and slamming him through the ring. No, there's not a third finisher. Just once, the moment it happens, people gasp. He retrieves him from the hole in the hole in the ring, and basically pins him for the 1, 2, 3. Started his streak at 1-0. In the third match of the night, you need something lighter, so you have Paige teaming up with Brie Bella, Alicia Fox, and a flesh face turn Naomi take on Lana, Emma, Summer Rae, and Tamina. And you have Paige and Brie Bella's win. Basically because Paige was about to be kind of halfway retire, and Brie Bella was her last match to retire. And it's also like a Nikki Bella farewell song for now. And surprisingly, 10 years later, they come back and win the women's tag titles. Who would have thought? But anyway, that's how I would have booked here. Now, we did 3 matches. The fourth match with US title. It'd be the guy who won it on Raw in March 2016. It'd be Ryback to defend against Alberto Del Rio, great the Solid Monster. And while Ryback might not have been the most technically savvy wrestler. He was popular enough that justifies him winning the U.S. title. Hey, I had him win the world title. He could have won the IC title as well. Loses Kevin Owens, of course. And I want to have him win the U.S. title. I know he would be leaving the WWE in the same year, but you know what? He's going to squash Alberto Del Rio. I don't care. Del Rio is actually worse and leaves the WWE for anyway. Why not? Ryback destroys Alberto Del Rio in 5 minutes. Now, in the penultimate match, you have the New Day, who turn face like in real life, defend the tag titles against the Usos, the Dudleys, and Sheamus and Rusev. I mean, the Usos actually, people forget that now the Usos are I'll say it's over featured. But it used to be a time was a running joke that the Usos were wrestling from 2010. They started in 2010, okay? And they spent WrestleMania 26 to WrestleMania 33 without having an actual appearance of the show. They were only on pre-show. People forget about that. They spent nearly 10 years on 10 years. 10 years being on pre-show and actually moved up. Usually, if you noticed, if a wrestler is not there, is an active roster, doesn't have a match for like 3 consecutive WrestleManias, it's always spells troubles. It's not the case here. But anyway, I have Usos take out the Dudleys, the League of Nations take out Usos, and you can have basically New Day take away basically take down Sheamus and Rusev and basically nail Devon Dudley with a midnight hour to retain the tag titles. And in the main event of night 1, WrestleMania 32, I had The Undertaker defend the streak against the one person who we didn't see him cross path WrestleMania. That's John Cena. And I would have The Undertaker win. So yeah, that's night 1 of WrestleMania. Night 2 started like it did the actual night 1 of WrestleMania. It'd be Kevin Owens it would start off like WrestleMania 32 really started with the IC title match. It would be Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn versus Miz versus Kalisto, Radon Sin Cara versus Cody Rhodes versus Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder versus the Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner of WrestleMania 32, Mark Henry. Mark Henry would not already had his feel good moment. He's not winning the IC title there. The Miz is no longer undefeated at WrestleMania, says they need to win. Sami Zayn lacks something there. Kevin Owens, by losing title there, he has the actual amount of days like the late great Owen Hart, so he loses the title. Kalisto, yeah. Cody Rhodes about to leave as well. Ziggler, please. So it's still Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's gonna win, loses it the next day to The Miz, or he could lose it the next month to Miz. Let's give him like a month. But you wouldn't be a long-term champion, Ryder. You're just gonna be 1 month. Second match, like in real life, would be Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles, but unlike in real life where they made the dumb, boneheaded decision to have Jericho win the few times he win at WrestleMania, and the few times he wins, they made him win at times he shouldn't have had. In this case, he needed to lose, especially he lost the next day to AJ Styles in the Fatal 4-Way match for the #1 contendership of the WWE title. What better way to just, you know, to just solidify AJ Styles as main eventer, not just in TNA, not just here, but there and anywhere in the world by having pinned Chris Jericho. He beats him at Fastlane, he beats him here, and he beats him the next night. 3 in a row. 3 in a row, baby. I mean, this is what Triple H did to Batista, as Soul Monster would say, and I would add this is what Seth Rollins did for Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins did not have to do it bar one pay-per-view. He did it because he didn't want to just solidify Cody Rhodes as he just came back. He wanted to solidify him as a main eventer. And this is how you solidify AJ Styles as a main eventer without having him main event this WrestleMania. In the next match, you have Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. Brock Lesnar could be the pseudo face here, and you have basically Luke Harper trying to interfere. You could have basically Brock trying to interfere, doesn't work. Braun Strowman interferes and it kind of does sway the favor back to Bray Wyatt, but it leads to basically Brock Lesnar would suplex Braun Strowman would German suplex Luke Harper, make sure Luke Harper is in storyline incapacitated, and would lead up to he would counter Sister Abigail into an F5 with 1, 2, 3. Have you noticed that let Eric Rowan be the only one spared because this is where he's just tired. He's gonna face up. He wants to basically avenge this loss and challenge anybody from the back. It's The Rock, and it's like in real life, it's a squash, and I don't mind. That was fun, and yeah, it doesn't give you a huge message, but who cares? It'll be a surprise appearance. In the fifth match of the night, you have Charlotte Flair defending the women's title against Sasha Banks, against Becky Lynch, against Natalia. In this scenario, I know that Lita introduced the women's title match. The women's title as they was reintroduced. No, since Charlotte was a Divas champion until that, and that was the title, the women's title there, I would have maybe might sound unpopular, but Charlotte Flair's first reign started the very same night when she's given that title because he said to replace it. So it counts as a title reign that just started. She defends against the whole bunch, and as much as Sasha Banks is unbearable nowadays, and she is, I mean, her talking about crystals, the force of crystal, always tries to portray herself as a victim. I think this WrestleMania should have finished, or at least she should have left the women's champion at the end of this WrestleMania, and that's what I would have done. Besides, the Charlotte Flair pay-per-view winning streak led to nowhere, so why not? So you could still have Becky Lynch like seem like she's on her way to win the women's title. So you kind of protect her at the same time, and you establish like her to have future title match against Charlotte Flair there, and or future title matches, and Ric Flair pulls her out. So Natalia seems like she's gonna make Charlotte Flair taps out, but it's like Sasha Banks delivers the backbreaker, backstabber to Natalia. Then she locks in the bank statement and leads to Charlotte Flair tapping out. So why not? In the penultimate match, you can have Shane McMahon versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell match. You can have Triple H win. I'm surprised by myself that I thought, hey, you know what? There's only gonna be 2, 3 wins of Triple H, but yeah, you know what? It's against Shane McMahon. Who cares? And the actual main event of night 2 for the WWE title will be Roman Reigns, who I would have him win the Rumble using the corporation or the authorities' interference. It kind of turned heel, and it leads to Dean Ambrose winning the #1 contendership tournament. And he feels disgusted by Roman Reigns, how he's transpires, basically like Rock versus Mankind. That's how I would have booked this match. And it would end WrestleMania there. It would end with Dean Ambrose hitting like the headlock. You know this headlock, like the Rose Plant or the basically EC3 finisher, and then afterwards eating the Dirty Deeds DDT to win the title. So it would end WrestleMania 32. I would end WrestleMania 32 with Dean Ambrose as the WWE champion. So yeah, that'd be my WrestleMania 32. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Catch you guys later. Peace.